Hi, friends. Host Eric here. Host Talking with Famous People. And I'm going to talk today about a number of different things, but I want to start by discussing the ways in which we can be led astray, sort of, or otherwise not attending to the right thing if we overemphasize the connections between certain functions without concurrently understanding that each function's kind of got two sister cities. So obviously the sister city of extroverted intuition is introverted sensing. You have extroverted intuition 1, you got introverted sensing 4. You can't have one without the other. They always go together. They're sister cities, or they're on the same axis, as we say, or any number of other ways in which people approximate that relationship. So, is that right? Yeah. Okay. But there's another relationship. So, if you have NE in the conscious stack, you don't have SE in the conscious stack, because you only get one kind of action function. Either act metaphysically or act physically in the conscious stack. Now, you may have a number of different possible perceptions about this whole conscious, unconscious, valued, unvalued, blah, 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 blah. It really doesn't matter. I think that whatever word you want to use to explain that your 5th through 8th functions are somehow not as engaged and not as you're less capable of understanding things expressed in those languages, and that relationship between NE and SE is just as important as the relationship between NE and SI, because the relationship between SI and SE is one that it allows you to do SE without knowing anything, provided you're only doing SE shit about your own subjective stuff. So yeah, you have one action function, that's NE or SE. You have one epistemology, that's SI or NI. You have one extroverted interface function, that's FE or TE. You've got one introverted validation or experiential conversion process. So it's like, TI and FI are both ways to interact with words being said. For example, Joe's saying some words that maybe were going to hurt Sue's feelings, but hold on here, should point out Bob, but Joe's words are true. You can't complain because he told you the simple truth of the matter. He pointed out this flaw, and this flaw in what you were saying. And, well, golly gee, you're getting upset about it is just showing that you're not being reasonable and you're not being rational and you're prioritizing your feelings over the truth. Right? Meanwhile, the FI user has this sort of understanding. Yeah, but you're treating really glibly something that this person has put a great deal of work into and feels very strongly associated with their own ontology, and you're being awfully glib and callous with their emotional and spiritual well-being to simply justify your mean words with TI grounds. That's the most legitimate way I can put the FI position, I guess. So you get one epistemology, SI or NI. You get one action function, NE or SE. You get one what's known as an introverted judging function, but you might say an internal metric of validity, an internal validation process, and an external interface process. If you think about human beings as get, put, or receive, or create. So get is me asking a question. Receive is me waiting for something to happen. Put is me telling you something, making a statement. And create is well, I'm not putting an object that already exists. I'm in a different state of interface with the world, and I may or may not be interfacing with another human being during that process. You have to have a create function, or else no new objects to put. So if you think about it in that sense, put, receive, get, and create. Well, I mean, I guess it's like this. I create first. Then I decide what I really think about something. That's your inverted judging function. I create shit first, make shit up off the fly, whatever it is I'm encountering. I'll make some random thing. Then I'll decide what I really think about it by checking against TI logical consistency. Then I'll just see, okay, do I want to fight this for FE reasons? And lastly, I'll internalize it as knowledge. So it's going to be create, well, obviously you need any other things besides just put, get, create, and receive. You will need to have validate, experience, that's TIFI, and interface motivations and interface physics are FE and TE. Yeah. So okay, where I'm live streaming, it's a little choppy here. I didn't sleep last night. I'm feeling slightly discombobulated and moving a little slow. But I'm gonna check over here to see if anybody has written anything in the chat for me to read. No. Those 4 people are like, no, fuck you, Eric. I don't want to type. Yeah, you're seeming desperate now, Eric, and nobody likes that. Okay, stop asking us to type things. We'll do it when you say something interesting enough to comment upon. Thus far, it's all been garbage. So, at nearly $10 a pack here in California, cigarettes are becoming a luxury that is quite luxurious, you know? I'm probably going to have to convert to vaping at some point as a means of cost reduction. Or at least try to vape some of the time when I'd like to get up and have a cigarette. Reduce the amount of cigarettes I smoke. The biggest advantage the vape has is that I do not need to go outside to use it, and thus it has a legitimate shot. It's got a fighting chance. Is this as good as a Marlboro Red? Fuck no. Hell no. No. But it does get nicotine into my system. Marlboro Reds have a special secret blend of weird tobacco unrelated chemicals that make them by far the best cigarettes in the world. They have a certain chemically bite to the lung that's just like, I'm ready to be a cowboy thanks to these Reds. I don't know how many of you guys are aware of this, but people who smoke Reds gradually transform into cowboys. Sometimes it takes more than an entire lifetime, so you don't necessarily see evidence of it right away. Maybe they'll start turning like 75 or whatever. But by and large, most people, you'll start to notice the change into a cowboy sometime after the 5th or 7th year of smoking Marlboro Reds, assuming they're brand loyal. First they'll buy the cowboy boots and the hat. Soon you'll hear them jingle jangling by with spurs. Just the other day, I was trying to come down the 210 freeway here and get off on Free Street, and there were a group of senior citizens wrestling a bull in the right-hand lane. I said, hey, I like these things as much as anybody, but you can't obstruct traffic. Needless to say, the bull was on my side. For two reasons. One, these seniors didn't know how to wrestle a bull, and he didn't want to be responsible for hurting them. And two, obviously, he was a little skittish around all those cars. He said, hey, I'm not as nimble as you bipeds, and if somebody runs me over, they'll eat me, unlike you. So I'm worried. And I said, you should be worried because these people can't wrestle you at all, and this is not the place for wrestling. And so I shipped him off. I picked him up, I put him on the van, and I took him down to, I guess, what's it called? Something Badillo Park in Baldwin Park, and they have boxing matches there. I don't know what happened. I didn't stick around for it, but I do know though that there were several deaths at that facility that night. I'm not sure if they're related or not though. It could have been an unrelated bear mauling. Hi there. It could have been an unrelated falling down and hitting your head. It could have been an unrelated have molten iron poured over you. Any of those. Alright, let's get back to the cognitive functions. Now that we know all about that thing I was talking about there for a second. Love you too, Sylvie on Calves. Thank you for asking me questions that make good video topics. Here's the thing. Nick, some of you guys may know Nick. If you're familiar with the channel, you've probably seen Nick around on occasion. You've probably seen him trying to get all contrary with my ass. But Nick I've been kind of busting my chops about, like, Eric, you need to stop just talking about cognitive function. You need to broaden your frames and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, look, one of the most easy attacks to make on somebody who is providing analysis through a cognitive function framework is to say to them, God, not everything is about personality type. Not everything is about cognitive functions. Can't you talk about any kind of analysis of abstract shit without using cognitive functions? Well, yes, I can. And I sometimes do. But if you are actually versed in cognitive functions yourself, if I use certain language, it will trigger within you the linkage as well. So, for example, if I use the cognitive function framework but don't use its language, in other words, I say, well, the reason he's like that is because he likes to come up with new ideas about shit all the time. It's his default way of being. And so that's why he just blurts shit out and comes up with this crazy nonsense, and some of it's good and some of it's bad. And yeah, I don't know either, but that's why. Is because he's just naturally a come up with crazy nonsense kind of guy. If I'm going to use that kind of language and avoid the jargon of cognitive functions, somebody who's familiar with cognitive functions is going to know I'm really talking about extroverted intuition. Now, I could avoid actually using those taxonomical categories at all, but if I'm going to do that, then I'm going to have to use some other framework to operate within. I might use a framework such as observer, object, field, and relate everything to those three positional relations, or absolute, and relative absolute, relative uncertainty and relative falsehood and absolute falsehood and stuff like that, validation and stuff, methodologies of validation, methodologies of invalidation, and which apply to which kind of thing is not necessarily cognitive function at all, but it'll end up linking it into it if you choose to do the mental work, because you'll say, okay, well, there's a method of validation that uses deductive logic and validation according to that. Is it valid or is it invalid? Is a structural grammatical thing. All dogs are brown, that's a dog, therefore it's brown, is valid. All dogs are brown, that thing's brown, therefore it's a dog, is invalid. And it's grammatically necessarily the case. The logic works that way. That's one validation method. And another validation method might be that each of us has our own core, authentic love and hate and laughter and sadness and whatever kind of emotional reaction to anything, and spending time really getting to know what your own true emotional response to something is can be another way to evaluate shit or whatever. Well, if you're saying those things, you're talking about TI and FI, you're drawing that distinction, and you're saying these evaluatory metrics are different, but you're not necessarily talking about cognitive functions because you're not making the distinction between evaluatory metrics, action functions, and epistemological functions. I was saying a little while ago, I want to pick up on the thread here a bit, that there's action, there's interface, there's authentic, what you think about it, and there's making it part of your identity. There's your extroverted feeling or extroverted thinking are interface functions in a way that the introverted judging functions are not. So if I'm using extroverted feeling, it requires me to act, in other words, to say some things. It requires me to get, that is to say, ask some questions. It requires me to reflect, that is to say, do some introverted thinking about that allow me to make predictions and make choices. And it requires me to both seek perceptual outcomes that are consistent with FE, like being liked and being respected and stuff like that. And it also causes me to perform well at that thing and to understand it as a mode of going through the world. So for me, as a TI ahead of FE, it doesn't matter because I'm still using FE to do all those things. I may do all those things less frequently than an FE tool function user would, but I'm still using FE to get information. I'm using FE to establish things. I'm using FE to just be quiet and let myself receive stuff. I'm using FE to make sure that I'm not talking too much or too little. I'm using FE for all these various things that I'm doing, some of which are internal, some of which are external, some of which are action, some of which are knowledge, some of which are decisions, some of which are whatever. So your extroverted judging functions really are your interface functions. They allow you to do all the functionalities that one can do to other objects and or agents. In other words, the prepositions. And it's a mistake to think that this is why MBTI calls introverted judges perceivers and vice versa, is because it's a mistake to think that your extroverted judges like your ESFJs are quite in the same category at all as your introverted judges like your ISFP, who's got FI as a dominant function. FI as a dominant function is going to play out very, very differently than FE as a dominant function because FI is an internal validation, authentication, and experiential function. That's say converting the meanings that have impact into the physical experience of the emotion, and or dealing with the subjective valuing aspects of things. Those things are not interface functions, and therefore you have only a subset of the possible range of ways of utilizing that function that an extroverted judger like an FE dumb would have. Now I'm gonna step away from the computer for 1 second. There's not gonna be anybody here except for Poppy to run shit. Luna, of course, you can run shit, but I know that you're very quiet. You don't tend to want to say anything.
What?
I gotta go smoke a cigarette, is what my point is. And it's gonna take me about 5 minutes. And Poppy, I would like you to ask Luna to tell you the answers to all the questions that you have been pressing upon your mind since birth. Go.
I'm scared.
That's not a question.
Where do babies come from? Good question, goddammit. Yeah. How long before you think Kim Jong-un will actually act upon his BS? long do you think it'll be till Jesus comes back and kills us all? Okay. Um, how many genders are there? Being a millennial is really confusing now in school when they tell you that there's 56 genders or something or some bullshit. Hmm. This is really awkward for me because I'm not used to being put in the spot when I don't have something to say to come up with something. Um, shit. Do you think there will ever be world peace?
Okay, I'm back. I'm going to check the chat to see if there are any questions from the chat. I'm going to check the chat here in this room, and then I'll check the chat in the dashboard chat thing. The concept of babies is from our mind. The concept of babies is from our minds? Well, it's true that babies only conceptually exist in our mind. But I do know that there are some very small humans who mostly just cry and don't talk. And that those humans, at least insofar as I've experienced them heretofore, have grown larger over time and developed the ability to speak. Thus, I would say that to the extent that any conceptual object can be said to exist in the physical world as a thing to be represented, babyhood, the stage of development, the idea of being a baby contains within it the notion that it's an early stage of development. And I'm sure this is not at all what you guys were talking about when you said that. I'm not saying that you meant anything in particular by it. I was just musing upon the notion. Live chat is bugged for me. I don't know what that means. Live chat is bugged. He already tried. What's Socionics? What is Socionics? Socionics is a Russian version of MBTI, basically, in which they're trying to make it as mathematical as possible. They're focused heavily on the notion that you can predict how people will. But I don't understand what you mean by bug. Like someone's listening into you. Anyway, it focuses more on intertype relations a lot and says and quadras and stuff. And in fact, it's provided a shit ton of good new information about cognitive functions that didn't exist prior to socionics. I'm a firm believer in the duality notion, at least certainly for ENTPs and ISFJs. But there's some things about socionics I'm not so thrilled with. It's like it so wants it to be precise and scientific-y and it so wants to falsify shit in the real world and stuff that it mistakes the map for the territory a little bit. I don't mean to be critical of socionics. I don't really have the biggest problem I have with it actually is the fucking blocks, which are stupid. There's no reason to number them in the way that socionics does in those different blocks: ego block, superego block, id block, superid block. It doesn't work like that, and it doesn't make any sense, and it's counterintuitive. I have the live chat tab opened on my iPad, but no messages are showing. Oh, well, that's because there are only a few messages anyway. There's only 3 messages up there. But 7 people are watching. You 7, you are the best 7 people. I checked, and amazingly, you 7 people were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the list of best people. So, congratulations. It's a pretty strong correlation. It suggests that perhaps. Right. Are you having bath time, Rai? Well, let me tell you guys this about bath time, Rai. That is an example of SI, introverted sensing, where you sink down into the bath and you go, oh yeah, that feels good. Except instead of saying that, you say, right. Like
a cat in heat.
Yeah, like a cat in heat. I am a lot like a cat in heat, in that both a cat in heat and I say right. I'm not like a cat in heat, insofar as I'm not a female cat and am inclined towards pursuing reproductive behaviors leading to reproduction, behaviors sourced in reproductive inclinations, more than seasonally. So those are a couple of differences between me and a cat in heat.
No, it's just what it sounds like.
Just what it sounds like, says Kim. I'm making it too complicated again. Anyhow, I don't know if you're aware of this. I don't think dogs go into heat. Do dogs go into heat? They do, maybe. But they don't make those sounds that cats make. Now we've got a ESTP male cat around here. And he's trying to fight all the cats he can't bang. All he wants to do is fight some of our cats and bang the other ones. So, well, we got 4 cats. They're a bit of a gang. So Violet will go take the gang over there, and she'll give what for to this ESTP fellow cat who's got like half a tail. He's all like beat up and.
He's the pimp.
He's big pimpin', yeah. He's Schmitty Rensel's father. Well, anyway,
Baby.
life is a lot like.
A box of chocolates.
No, this relationship between the cats in our neighborhood. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot like that. Show off the cutest cat. Oh, wow, that's a good point, Luna, that people do like to watch cats, and that wouldn't probably increase my views. However, I don't have any of the cats in the room with me right now, and getting up to find one seems like a pain in the ass. But life's a lot like our 4 cats and that male cat. By and large, in the world, everyone gets along fine. But sometimes there are people who are assholes. And those people are called ESTPs. The end. The moral of this story is Eric shitting on ESTPs again. Why? Well, because it's my insecurity function. I'm insecure. I am fretting about my 8th slot SE. And those pesky ESTPs, with their not thinking about things, they're always beating me at that. Look, I won again. I just did the first thing that came to mind, didn't think about it at all, and I finished first. Therefore, I won. I completed the task. You didn't do anything. Yeah, but you completed the task, but you gave us all leprosy. Including yourself.
They get the chicks, they just don't get to keep them.
Right, they get the chicks, they just don't get to keep them. So Kim says, it's good. This is a good way to put it. You know, ESTPs are all about conquer and notch and then move on to conquer somebody new. And so I suspect that they could probably lock down people, but
They divorce, the women divorce them and then eventually end up with men like you.
Kim says the women divorce ESTPs and eventually end up with men like me. Well, I hope so. I hope that's the case. An ISFP classmate always finishes tests before I do, says Luna. Of course, Luna's insanely brilliant, and I'm sure her ISFP classmate is not. Not that there's anything wrong with ISFPs. They're just not. They're not idea people, you know. They're experienced people, and they're doing it people, and they're feeling it people, and they're just not really intellectuals in any sense of the word. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. It's just, Luna, you are one of the more TI heavy INTPs I've ever encountered, and that means sometimes we're going to overthink some things. This used to happen to me when I was in high school, where I'd overthink these tests. I'd be like, okay, well, this is probably the answer they want, but really the way it's phrased, technically, that should be the answer. But do they know that phrasing it that way, grammatically, one can infer that the other thing must be the answer, or is that just a mistake on their part? I used to do that all the time on tests. It was very frustrating. Because people are clumsy in their language. They phrase test questions in a way that is not, it doesn't eliminate alternate interpretations. Well, I'm sure she's academically good. That doesn't mean that she's an idea person. I mean, you can... What the ISFP is definitely going to be good at is following through on doing the tasks they're supposed to do. To the extent that those tasks are well structured and actually cause the person who does them to learn something they're supposed to learn, then ISFP can be a successful student. They're going to have less procrastination, less overcomplication, and more just putting their nose to the grindstone and getting it done than an INTP or an ENTP by far. But they're not going to come up with anything genius. And they can't hang in a idea conversation for very long and don't want to. They're not idea people, they're feelings people. So, but yeah, it doesn't mean they're stupid. It just means that they've got polar NE, for God's sake. Let's see. Yeah, dogs have heats, says Charlie Bogan. They do? Okay, dogs have heats too. See, I wish I had never gotten Lacey fixed. She menstruated one time, alright, not that long after I got her. And I was like, oh, fuck that. I don't want her menstruating every month. And so I got her fixed. But then I found out they don't menstruate every month. They only menstruate like twice a year. If I had known that, I wouldn't have gotten her fixed. I would have said, okay, well, it's fine. She can menstruate twice a year. Or I had to worry about dog badge blood every month. It would be too much. Dog badge blood.
You would be dealing with dog badge blood, they lick it up.
Well, I don't want to see that, though. It's disgusting.
Well, seeing how they act when they're in heat is even more disgusting.
How do they act?
Well, let's give it a couple months and I'll show you how Capillo acts.
Oh, I know how the cats act. Because Kitty Meow Meow, remember, she used to try to get me to hump her. When Kitty Meow Meow was in heat, she'd run past me, she'd kneel down in front of me, and look back at me like, go ahead, have at it. You know you want to. I'd say, no, Kitty Meow, I'm not going to hump you. You're not the right species. And that wouldn't be comfortable for you. You're not... It wouldn't
My
work.
penis is as big as your body.
Yeah, it would be damage you, I'm sure. So, anyway, that's what cats do when they're in heat, is they want you to hump them. Well, I'm going to carry on this live stream till we hit an hour, I think. We're at 41 minutes. There's another 19 minutes. And I think I want to talk a little bit about intertype relations, which I indicated in the title I was going to talk about. Obviously, you've heard me wax poetic about the value and importance of the duality relationship. But there are other relationships that are just as important to have, probably just not with a romantic partner. With your romantic partner, you need your dual, in my opinion. But it's important to have other kind of relationships in your life. This is, in part, a notion I've been fleshing out that I got from an INFJ, whose name I forget at the moment, but kind of a new YouTuber, and he was talking about INFJ circles of people filling certain roles and allowing them to predict that they'll be okay in various contexts because they know they can count on Joe for blah and Mary for blah and blah blah blah. Whereas ENTPs don't probably work it like that. I'm not thinking so much about leaning on people as we're pushing people. Like, well, I know they can't resist my yelling at them, and I know that they can't resist because they're wrong about this, so I'm going to go in there and force this fucking shit, you know? That's more of an ENTP approach, or at least an H ENTP like myself. So it's important to have a variety of intertype relationships. I think it's one that I'm lacking that I would like to have in my life. I feel I need to have in my life. I need to have an INFP in my life who's more actively engaging with me, because she's or he would be, either one, he or she. I usually think of INFPs as females, but they're not obviously all females. There's plenty of male INFPs out there too. And regardless, if I had an INFP friend who was engaging with me frequently, that would be my supervisor type. And having an INFP in the mix will necessarily make me more cautious and more aware a little bit of other people's feelings, because I don't want to get busted by them. It's like something that you intuitively know, you instinctually know that this other person is excellent at the thing you're super shitty at. So, an FI Dom is going to be excellent at FI. It's my polar. So I'm not going to get it at all. I'm going to try to say, okay, so what does he want me to do again? You want me to fake my feelings like this? No, I want you to stop faking them at all. What, you mean fake like I'm not faking them? No, don't fake them. FI and FE, FE users like third slide FE, polar FI, ESTP, ENTP, but it's particularly ENTP I'm talking about right now. It takes a long time for us to understand that the thing we keep talking about is not introverted feeling. It's our extroverted feeling approximation of it. The real introverted feelings are not subject to words and expression and meeting criteria and stuff like that. They're just like hunger or thirst. It's not subject to argumentation. You either drink your water and quench your thirst or you don't. So I think it's important to have a supervisor in your life. I also think it's important to have a benefactor in your life. For me, benefactor is ESTJ. I have that one. I've got a couple of ESTJs in my life, and they're my benefactors because they remind me and help me to be more TE attentive and be more concerned about efficiency, effectiveness, achieving the goals I want, and so forth. Let me look here at the dashboard again. A big, weird, saggy dog vag. Big, weird, saggy dog vag is actually my Native American name. Originally it was running big, wet, saggy dog vag, but I said, hey, that's too many words. And the chief of the tribe said, how? And that means, okay, fine, get rid of the running. So, interesting coincidence there. As a Native American, I am naturally endowed with a lot of spiritual wisdom and knowledge. I come from the Cahockahaka tribe of northern Dakota regions. We're a tribe that we have a lot of spirit animals, a lot of like magic in the forest kind of shit, and we live in teepees. We shoot bow and arrows. It's a blast. It's just like Cub Scouts, really, but instead of being something you got to quit when you get old, it's something you get to be forever because you're 1/32nd Native American like me. But it's my strongest 32nd as a thing. It may not sound like a lot of Native American, but, well, it's kind of like how MBTI says your first extroverted judging function. Well, for me as a transracial identity, the most thing that I am is my first extroverted Native American function. That means I'm mostly Indian, even though I'm 1/32nd. And that means I'm pretty much always going to be right about what's wrong with you spiritually and what you need to do to become whole with nature. So, also, there's like 14 guys on horses coming. We should be here in about 20 minutes. I can hear them. Why they're coming here on horseback, I don't know. They may not be actually heading here. They could be going past this house. But my Native American skills don't tell me exactly their final destination, just where they are, which direction they're heading, and how fast. I can get all of that information just by. What? They changed course. They changed course, actually. But anyway, other Native American skills. I can transform into a bear and transform back before anybody can even notice. It's so fast. Nobody even sees it. Yeah, I just did it. Other things I can do. I can grow super tall if I drink a potion. And I can call upon the Great Spirit to shoot someone with lightning if they're bad. I can use Indian magic to protect the environment. So any battle that I'm in that is about environmental causes, I've got +10. +10. That's big. Also, littering makes me physically ill. If I litter, I get warts and boils all over my body. So I never litter. And I do pee in the stream sometimes. But it's not. It's more like a urban concrete death way of water motion. So I don't even feel bad about it. It's like, yeah, all you city dwellers, all you whiteys, come here and steal my land from me, drink my pee, and they do. I mean, they don't even say anything about it. They're just like, they just think it's water. Of course, I'm really well hydrated, so when I pee, it's not yellow at all. It just looks like clear water. It's one of my Native American powers. Also, I can make papooses. I have a squaw. My squaw's name is Kimberly, but I'm talking to the Council of Indian important people, and I'm going to try to get Kim Indian name. She deserves one. As far as I'm concerned, she's 1/32nd now too because she's with me and it's contagious. So I'm thinking squatting possum. Squatting possum. Um, Squatting possum in the cat food. When I came outside on the front porch and a possum had gotten inside the big container of cat food, I was just sitting in the midst of the fucking cat food, just hojing on it. I was like too disgusted to even get it out. But that's probably not a good name for Kimberly then. How about blowing ice storm? I think we need an animal in there. How about whispering ice hawk? Whispering ice hawk can be Kimberly's Indian name. I have to remember what my Indian name is here. I'm Big Weird Taggy Dog Veg. Kimberly can be Whispering Ice Hawk or Whispering Ice Buffalo in summer. Whispering Ice Buffalo in summer. I as her official Indian companion, that means I do get to name her. I get to pick her Indian name because she's never been an Indian before. Now she's with me. She's finally an Indian. She's finally getting some of these Indian powers. She's finally turned to, like eating twigs and berries and shit, and opening casinos left and right. Look. You think just because I'm an Indian, I must be a drunk, I must live on a reservation, I must scalp people and live in a teepee. Only 3 of those things are true. So, I'm tired of the prejudice. I'm tired of the hate. I'm tired of the smallpox. I've been talking with my Indian brethren. We're coming up with, that's right, large pox. They're larger than your smallpox and just as contagious. How do you like that? Huh, Whitey? Kim, did I tell you that you know how I'm 1/32nd Native American? Do you remember how I'm 1/32nd Native American? No, Kimberly. I am transracial. I just know. I know with my introverted intuition that I'm 1/30.
Racial meaning you have many races?
Means my race changes over time.
If you wanted to.
Yeah. But one part of me that never changes, my Native American heart.
You're not Native American at all. You are full German.
Kimberly, it's my Native American heart that gives me the spiritual wisdom to tell you how you need to be more with nature. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I have decided to give you your own Indian name. Being a member of the tribe, I'm allowed to name whiteys like you. I'm going with Whispering Ice Dove. Okay, but that's your new Indian name. You're Whispering Ice Dove. My Indian name is Running Big Weird Saggy Dog Vag.
What about saggy dog balls? More appropriate.
Well, I'm going with Charlie Bogan here. He's the one who gave me that Indian name. He didn't think he was doing it.
Saggy dog vag?
Yeah, Big Weird Saggy Dog Vag. But I'll put a running in front of it to make it a little bit more Indian sounding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you Indian dot or Indian? Oh.
I'm Indian. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. If I were Indian dot, I'd talk like this. There's that. I just say how. Transracial. Did I have to go through transition surgery? No, actually. Surprisingly, there are no surgical requirements. When I was African American, It was a real eye opener.
For me too.
But you know what was weird? Is everybody just treated me the same.
I
Which
didn't.
proves that there's no racism.
I didn't.
You didn't? Well, you didn't know me back when I was black.
Oh.
I was before you.
I thought you were last night.
No, Kim. Anyway, the point being, after I was black, I became Chinese. That was when I got free karate. And I was Mexican briefly. I was USA race for a while. I was famous person for a while. Now I'm really getting into my Native American ways. Do you know that I can predict the rain? No? I can.
Yeah.
All I have to do is put my ear to the ground. I'll be like, rain in 6 hours. I won't be like, damn, your Indian know-how's sick, Eric. And I'll be like, yeah, it is. You want a buffalo hide? And it'll be like,
Want a
yeah.
fidget spinner?
No. I'm fidgeting with my brain right now. That's what all those words
I'll
are.
get you your fidget spinner.
I have it. It's right here.
Alright. And quit fidgeting with your unit.
Kimberly, both hands are above the camera. Now, you can see there's no fidgeting with any units. I have pants on, I'll tell you. You can see them. See my pants? I have pants on. That's why you should send me $5 right now. Yes, it's true. You, beloved viewer, should send me $5 right now because I have pants on. Now you might say to yourself, but Eric, I have pants on too. Why shouldn't you send me $5? Well, because I'm the one who came up with the idea that you should send me $5 because I have pants on. Now, if you want to send me $5,
Quit begging them for money.
Kim, I'm not begging them. I'm telling them they should normatively send me $5 because I have pants on. I never asked them to send me $5 before. How are you going to send it to me, though?
I'll go to the store and I'll send them stuff.
Oh, yeah, why don't you... Okay. Don't just send me $5. That would be silly. What would you get for that? You just get, like, me going, thanks for the $5. But, look at this. This is worth every last cent. It says $6. You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to be crazy. I'm going to lower the price to $5 low dollars for one of Kimberly's clay things that she made. 5 tiny little dollars gets you a Piao, a Mia, or a TWFP tag. That's a lot of oomph for $5. That's more oomph than the sound that one makes when hit in the stomach with a dodgeball. Go to this thing, and then what? And then and go like that. Pow! Okay. Pricing. Might change it. Oh wait. Item. Pricing. Is there a sale price? Alright, I just dropped it $5. Oh, there it is. There's the sale price. 5. On sale? Yeah, it's on sale. It's a pretty good sale, I tell you. Alright. I'm gonna buy this because it's on sale for $5 little dollars. Well, I have $5 right here. What am I gonna do with it? Throw it out the window? Eat it for dinner? Draw a picture upon it? No, I'm going to get one of these spectacular on sale things. Either Mia, either Mia, or TWFP. One of those three I'm going to get for sure with my $5. So, if you're thinking to yourself, I don't know what to do with this $5, but I cannot hold it any longer because it's annoying the shit out of me, then what you should do is buy that thing. Okay, that's it for today's live stream. And I want to thank you all who are watching it live and those who will watch it later if I upload it, if I make it a, yeah. Anyway, don't forget to eat plenty of cheese and keep that metacognition going, guys. It is how we optimize and we really learn to be. We are human beings. We're not human doings. We're not human knowings. We're human beings. We be. I'm being right now. You are not. That's what's wrong with you.